Start the recording.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Dropping the mask we wear day to day, building real trust in a brand new way. For a deeper connection, let's explore on transparent conversations. Transparent conversations, where every word can open doors. Transparent conversations. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Welcome to Transparent Conversations, Elevated Exchanges. I am your host, Calvin, or CPJR, or CPJR if you feel, or CPJR 300 if you feel me. If you know, you know. Welcome back to my little YouTube series, podcast, whatever you want to call it. This is where I get to talk about politics. And I'm not talking about what's happening now or breaking news or anything like that. I'm talking about the narrative that we're not getting, also the framing that we're not getting from mainstream media. So hopefully you have stopped watching mainstream media or have definitely reduced it, and you're adding some additional independent media sources, news sources to your diet, because what we see in the mainstream is garbage. And I'm gonna ask you a question. Did you know APAC has been around since the 70s? Haven't heard anything about it, but we're gonna get into that. So like I said, tonight is Sunday night, and I did not record an episode this week. The last time I was here was last Sunday night. The election was for Maryland. The primaries was on Tuesday, and lo and behold, turn this down a little bit. Lo and behold, no progressives won in Maryland. Maryland was all established Democrats. It was a Democrat primary. It was all established Democrats that won. Believe it or not, and the APAC. So for me, APAC won. APAC still owns Maryland. It still runs Maryland politics on the federal level. Adrian Boafo won his primary, backed by APAC, $8 million. And I didn't even look into Glenn Ivey because he's basically was APAC from last time. And he's still an APAC candidate. So the blood's on their hands. And if you voted for them, the blood's on your hands also. You are continuing to support the genocide, the genocidal savages in Israel, and you're supporting the killing of more Palestinian children and Lebanese children. So that's where I stand on it. I will never vote for either one of those men again. Angela Alsobrook, same list, her neither. The only person I really trust on the federal level in Washington, D.C. for Maryland is Chris Van Hollen. He's a star. He was trying to warn Marylanders about how much foreign money, outside influence was coming into our elections. So if you're upset about data centers or whatever, you helped that. you voted for that when you voted for those gentlemen. So that's what it is. I was kind of depressed about it. I was really proud of this state and being so blue, but we're just not really savvy on a federal level. Or if you go to church, shake some hands, support Israel, you'll get the vote. But if you actually are trying, I've been thinking about it a lot about Maryland, and this is my county specifically, PG. PG is the county that I grew up in. I lived in Virginia. I lived in Manassas. I lived in Annandale. I lived in Montgomery County, the best county I lived. I enjoyed my time in Montgomery County. I lived with my wife at the time. Before we got divorced, we lived up there, and it was a great life. The county is very prosperous. They have services for their citizens. But PG's different. It's not like that. And I see why. We have candidates who are not here to represent the people of PG County. They're representing outside interests. And it's apparent, it's there. So get what you pay for. And APAC, they got a lot. Now they spent a lot and got a lot. So congratulations, APAC, for your win and your victory. But I'm gonna still try to beat you. I'm gonna still try to beat you. I think you guys are genocidal savages. I will never say anything different. Zionism. I see the line from Zionism to what happened here in this country, and it's amazing. We're gonna see a video on this. It's amazing that when Adolf Hitler was looking for a system of oppression, he looked to America for the blacks. How America was oppressing the blacks in the United States, and then when when Israel needed a system of Zionism to kill the indigenous people, they looked to America again for support and how to do it. They did the same thing to the Native Americans when they were here. So our country is pretty much a genocidal country. We support other genocidal nations, I guess, at this point. I will never think different. You can't show me anything different because I see it. We all see it now. It's in our faces, and also it's now affecting our elections from a weird place. Remember, I started this series saying that there's a problem with the Democrats. They don't want to win, right? I'm just saying the lackluster performances since 2016 is apparent, and then the war with Gaza after October 7th, they supported it all the way. They supported it. They supported it after they said you need to stop, they still kept going. So Gaza is pretty much flattened, and now they're trying to do the same thing in Lebanon. We're in a war because of Netanyahu, and was able to use the useful idiot in the White House, and they got that done. So basically, we're in control of Israel, and it's an existential threat, right? It's something that we should be very alarmed about. The fact that all this is happening at once, right? We're aging empire. We have billionaires that are changing the rules to get more money. But I already know that I'm gonna tell you like this. I already know that everybody should know that by this time that AI is a bubble. It's apparent that SpaceX is not going to be worth the money they say it's worth. They've never made a profit. They shouldn't have been IPO'd, but they changed the rules for them. And now also, because of the way they changed the rules, that will be added into the index. And now everyone who has 401ks invested in NASDAQ will have a piece of that company that's eventually going to get caught. They have a lot of lawsuits. Just had a death in Tesla because of that, whatever they autopilot, crashed someone's house and killed the woman, or the woman sitting in the house. The vehicle sped up. They're trying to say it was user error. You should disable all of it. It shouldn't even be an option. If it's killing people, it shouldn't be an option because it's illegal. But billionaires get breaks. So yeah, sorry for the loss of that lady and that young man. He's still alive. So I saw a video on Instagram where it was a group of young black people in a car. Everyone was asleep but the driver. He's filming it, and they're in a Tesla, and everyone's asleep. The driver's asleep, the people in the back seat are asleep, and they're just going down a desert road. I will never do that. It would have to be a Waymo. And Waymos can't go on the Beltway. So I probably would never do that. I'm 60, so y'all have fun with that. Be careful. I would hate to die in a car that I'm not driving. You know what I'm saying? Especially for me, after the life I've led, I probably should be dead at this point because of some of the crazy situations I've been in, but I'm not. And to die with no one behind the wheel but a computer would be a crazy way to go. It would be a crazy way to go, because I swear to God, me driving, it's just been a lot, and I'm lucky no one was killed or died or with me driving or riding with someone else. But it's crazy to think that people are being killed in Teslas and injured in Teslas using a service that shouldn't be working in anyone's car. It should not be working, but people They just want to trust the technology. And I work in computers, so I will not do that. I will not do that. I know things happen. And I know the corners that he cut trying to get that to market. There's no LiDAR. There's no radar at all. It's just cameras. And they go back and forth as to what's the best way to go. Who knows? Anyway, if you've been here for the first time, that was me rambling, not staying within the script that I have. But welcome to the show. I have 124 followers on YouTube and 60 followers on Substack. Thank you. Welcome back. I haven't put out any content this week, but I have put out haikus. So I needed to journal. So what I decided to do was write a haiku every day. A haiku is a Japanese form of writing poems. It uses syllables. So it's 3 lines, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, then 5 syllables. Normally it should be about nature. It could be about nature, but also it could be about deep thought or some type of idea you're working out. So I use it for that. Instead of me trying to sit down and write, all this pain and stuff I'm going through, I just write a haiku. I play with the words in my head all the time. It really helps me. And I've been posting that every day on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, if you're interested. I'm on day 9. I'm not going to miss a day. And actually, I think I'm going to keep going after 30 days. I quite enjoy it. But I will be going back into the office on the 9th, if everything works out well. I'm not going to really say the company I'm going back to. If you know me, you're going to be shocked because I'm going back to big tech. I have mixed feelings about that, especially with the way this is going. I'm going back as a contractor, not as an employee, because everybody like contractors now. Apparently, you got to prove yourself now. So it should be interesting. Everything goes well. I'll be back at 9, and I won't know. Okay, and I won't know. I won't know. I just lost my train of thought because my sister sent me a text. Okay, that's not good. So I won't know something. I don't know. So I don't know my schedule then. But this week I will be back on my regular schedule, but it's gonna be Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. You definitely want to tune in because I'm starting a new section. I don't know. I mentioned it before that I definitely wanted to do a series on building your own religion or designing your own religion, because I'm not a Christian. So, and I'm an agnostic. I call myself a spiritual agnostic. So I believe the spiritual practice is good and ritual is good for you. Like I said, I'm in the program. So we have a lot of ritual, a lot of sayings, a lot of things we do every week. When it's good to have that consistency, especially if you had a life that's been out of control for a while. So I do believe that. I do believe there's some benefits from ritual and spiritual practices, and I believe that if everyone really pursues spirituality more than religion, we have a different world. That's my belief. So please, if you have a chance, please go like, share, and subscribe. And help me grow out this community and this channel and make it something special for people that just like to sit around and have deep conversations, because that's what this is supposed to be about. And right now we're talking about politics because we're in danger, y'all, and just have to talk about it. I have to talk about it to understand it. The narrative, the trope. So what's happening now is in New York had a better outcome than we had here They had a better outcome. They had the Democratic Socialists won, or Democrats won, of their primaries, not the established Democrats, and they're upset. Now, I want to know, if at all possible, can anyone tell me why are the Democrats so upset that people that call themselves Democratic Socialists won? As if they're trying to come up with a completely socialist agenda. I'm going to read what socialism, Democrat, what a democratic socialist stands for and what they are. But the whole thing, the narrative is now being skewed. Nope. It's now being skewed to make them to be evil. I haven't heard one evil thing come out of Zoran Mandami, because he's the leader. Everyone he backed won. And the thing is, the Democrats are upset because he won, and then the people behind him won, and now they're mad because I seriously believe they're mad because they have to work now. They have to actually do. Zoran Mandami is showing every mayor from the East Coast to the West Coast, South and North, that they've been lying to us about being able to get things done. You know what I'm saying? Because he is there to serve the people, not the corporations, not the rich. So he's not caring about the rich people's feelings if there's injustice, and that's the problem. Who you represent. Like I was saying though, if your representative never has to come to you, the constituents, and ask for support and money, where are they getting money from? That's what I asked about Glenn Ivey. Where is he getting the money from? We already know. But where's the money coming from? And that's who they support, right? Every candidate I support, Graham Plattner. I'm only supporting progressives. This is progressives or bust. I'm only supporting progressives. So, Glenn Plattner, I've sent money to Graham Plattner. I don't even have any money. I don't start working till the 9th. Graham Plattner, Ilhan Omar, and AOC are the people that have sent money so far. I'm going to start sending more money because I definitely believe that what they're doing is the right way. And if they're going to support us, we have to support them to make sure they get in office, because they don't take PAC money. And that's the danger. If you're an established APAC corporate Democrat, you get your money from them, right? So you take your orders from them. That's who you represent. And when you see a group of DSA, Democratic Socialists, trying to support the people, you're upset, because you're going to have to actually do the same thing, because that's what people are demanding, because they know now that Democrats have been doing nothing for the people, and they've been doing it all for the either APAC or their PACs. So Citizens United with that decision. Now we're seeing what's been happening since 2016 and John Roberts got in office. On the court. We're seeing what's been happening. The Democrats talk a good game, right? But they don't actually deliver. And that's what's been happening for years and years and years and years. And now we're to the point where, someone comes along and says, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do this for you. And then they do it. They're like, what? Universal health care in New York, right? Never been done. Did it. Rent-free did it. Everything he said. And I'm going to play this first video, and we're going to see an established Democratic star at one point, possible VP candidate on the short list for Kamala Harris. All of a sudden, he's lost. Ladies and gentlemen, Shapiro.
Are the people who are making a lot of noise, who are engaging in these performative politics, have to now figure out how to deliver results. It's one thing to speak in platitudes during a campaign. It's a whole other thing to actually deliver for people who are genuinely hurting.
Except you haven't delivered for the people of Pennsylvania. Establishment Democrats have never delivered. Literally, they have never delivered on any of the issues that we are talking about today, because we are still talking about these issues today. If establishment Democrats were able to solve any of these problems, they would have. So understand, even if socialists get in and they can't deliver on their promises, well, guess what? We are in the same situation then as we are right now. The fate that you are trying to fear-monger us with around socialists winning is what you are giving us already. We should be clear, though, that when politicians say things like this, they are not saying that they don't believe socialists can be effective.
Right.
They are promising that they are going to do everything in their power to keep socialists from being effective. This is Democrats ripping a page directly out of the Republican playbook. Remember when Obama got the Affordable Care Act passed and actually made healthcare a little bit better than it was before? What did Republicans do? That's right. They sabotaged the Affordable Care Act everywhere they possibly could, any chance they got. So that now they can look at the failures of the Affordable Care Act and say, see, this is what happens when you try. It fails. You might as well just deal with the terrible system we have. The fact that Democrats right now are basically promising to do this to socialists is proving once again that Democrats are not progressive. They are not on the left. They are a conservative party.
Right.
Because as soon as legitimate change is actually possible, all they do is rail against it. Because if politicians like Shapiro ever actually wanted to see progress, they would be excited about new politicians showing up, winning elections, and pushing for those things. Even if he disagreed with tactics, just pushing the message that those things are good and should be fought for would be something that is exciting for anyone who actually wants to see those improvements in our lives. The fact that establishment Democrats are doing the exact opposite of that proves why every fucking one of them needs to be primaried immediately.
And that's the problem we're having, right? We're having a problem with Democrats actually trying to understand what the people want and then actually understand why people are excited about voting for these people in New York and also DC. There's a progressive person that won their primary, so there will be a progressive as the mayor of DC. I don't know what the fear is. Well, I know what the fear is. They don't want to work. They don't want to have to raise money. They get their money from the PACs, so they get the orders from the PACs, so they don't have to really work. They can show up at a committee meeting, and ask some questions and look like they're really doing something, but they're not actually doing something because they've lost to Trump twice, and now we're in a worse situation. And we're fighting for our democracy, and people are dying overseas, here and there, and the one thing that they think they need to do is to fight their own party. There's a problem. I've been saying that for the longest time. There's a problem with the Democratic Party. Either they don't want to win, or they don't want to work, or they're perfectly fine, or they obey their masters, AIPAC, or some other corporation. So that's what we're having. We're having them they look like deers, like Josh Shapiro just now. I've never seen him look so sad, right? Because Zoran Madami's, he's a Muslim, right? And Josh Shapiro is definitely AIPAC back. He's definitely a Zionist. So it's like they can't. It's not about that promise was bad. And if they looked at Zoran Madami in New York, he's actually lived up to the promises that he's made. They're saying now you have to deliver. They're delivering. They've been delivering everything he said. Everyone in New York is happy, except for the landlords and people who are used to exploiting people. They're upset because they don't get to do it. And if you have a business and the rules change and you can't keep the business going, such as being a landlord, you should get out of that business. You shouldn't be upset because you're not able to exploit people as you were. You should be like, okay, I got to do this for 2 years and you see what's going on. Let me see how I can make this better. Instead, you're complaining about, I don't know, that you're going to miss rent raises for 2 years. I don't know. So let's go ahead and look at some more. I'm going to stick right here and we're going to just agree to disagree. That seems to be what's happening, is going to happen with the Democratic Party right now, based on what we knew in 2024 with Project 2025, should be united, right? They're not united. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen because most of them are perfectly satisfied with holding a minority position in Congress and being in opposition and not having really to do anything. All they have to do is show up for a meeting and then, ask some questions, and they're not going to answer the questions, and then come on TV and say something. You know, they don't have to really work. They don't got to raise money. It's just a whole new show, a whole new. We have to demand better. There has to be a whole new regime of candidates. And I don't know if they. Oh, I want to read about democratic socialism. Let me do that first before we go to the next one. I just want to read the definition so we can agree of what a democratic socialist is and isn't, because they seem to think, or people are saying that what's next, communism, and I'm like, where does communism come from? That's not socialism. And actually, these are democratic socialists. They believe in democracy, but they also believe in that the people should have a say in how things are being done, and like. We have socialism in this country. The post office, highways, the military, just the government period. Pretty much they have a lot of services they provide. Park service. These are like things that we as a country have decided that we should all pool together and make work, right? That's what socialism is, right? Communism is we're just going to own, the state is going to own everything and say what needs to be produced, how many cars, who's going to work for that. That's communism. He's talking about socialism, and they're not talking about full socialism. They're talking about democratic socialism, where they work for the people and not for the corporations. And for some reason, well, we know why they're established corporate APAC Democrats. We know why they're having a problem with this. They have to work for the people, and they don't want to work for the people. At 13 Democrats signed a pledge. So you can see how sick this is, and Fetterman was one of them, how sick this is that they're upset with a mayor of a city that's doing what the people want. That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's the problem I have with the Democratic Party. And people have told me about this before, and I didn't want to listen. I'm going to read this definition. Democratic socialism is a political ideology that advocates for a democratically run, decentralized socialist economy. While modern democratic socialists hold diverse views on how the economy should function, they share a core commitment to abolishing capitalism rather than merely regulating it through the state. The approach favored by social democrats, meaning that a well-regulated capitalistic system is good, because everybody, if you don't have capital, it's hard to really participate in a capitalistic system. If you don't own something, you don't have any capital, right? Capital is money, buildings, land. If you don't own those, it's hard for you to participate. That's right. So if your family has been in the United States for a very, very, very long time, and they own, let's say, a ranch out in the middle of someplace, or a bunch of land, or maybe there was a gold mine on it, or a oil wells, you're good because you own capital. You actually own something that people need and will pay you a lot of money for. If you came later on, let's say you came on slave ships, or you came as an immigrant, you may have had a harder time to get the capital to participate in the capitalistic system. So the socialists think that, or they want to either have a very well-regulated system where workers aren't exploited, or people aren't exploited. Let's say for the landlords, the renters aren't exploited, right? I don't know if you've been in New York, and it's very expensive, and they will sell you a closet and say it's an apartment because it is crazy to live there. But there are a lot of people there. I understand it. So let me read on. Democratic socialists reject Marxism-Leninism, communism, as a legitimate form of socialism, arguing that command economies effectively belong to a small bureaucracy that treats the means of production as its own private property. Democratic socialists also disagree with social democrats' attempts to harness capitalism. There's right there. I'm talking about the strong or regulated capitalism. A strong welfare state, since such mixed economies still leave many business ownerships under private and therefore undemocratic control. Instead, all employees should enjoy either democratic control or self-management in the workplaces. I don't see a problem with employee-owned companies. There are very few. But I don't really think that the DSA, I've been on there with, this came from, I don't know, Webster, someplace like that. British Britannica, I think. I didn't take the definition from the website of the DSA because I wanted to get a more objective definition. So, right, straight socialism, everybody owns everything, right? They're not talking about that because that's never going to happen, right? Because people already own things. But what we're saying is, why are our elected representatives and why did the Supreme Court do something like Citizens United, right? Like, they're saying that money is speech. So a corporation, there's even a law that say corporations can vote in Delaware. So it's like a corporation isn't a company and money is not speech. If you, in a capitalistic society and a system, that means that people, all the capital, have more of a vote. Because you're saying money can vote, meaning that they could just start up a PAC and then dump millions of dollars against the candidate to get the candidate elected. A lot of people think that Elon rigged the vote in 2024. I don't think he rigged it. I think he paid $250 million and just bombarded, because it happened here, and just bombarded the airwaves with the message, Trump's message, and got through on the swing states, because most people only vote for the last name. Remember, most people are not they're low information voters. They aren't looking at the candidates. They aren't really seeing who's the candidate actually is getting, where is his money coming from, who's backing them, their voting record. They aren't doing all that. It's name recognition. So if you can repeat that name over and over again on the internet and say they're good, they just vote for that person. I believe that's what happened in Maryland. I don't think our county has a very high level of high information voters. Adrian Boafo, he was an APAC candidate, straight up, and Oracle, right? All the things that people don't want. They want Israel out of our government, and they don't want data centers. Adrian Boafo he represents those two areas. That's what I'm saying. That's what he's saying. Like, so, things that they want to do according to their website, they want to get rid of the Electoral College, which I agree. The Electoral College is there because landowners, people in the middle of the country who own a lot of land, knew they would lose all the time because they don't have a lot of people, right? So, in the places that have a lot of people on the West Coast, on the coast, East Coast, West Coast, that's where the people are, right? They would rule, the laws would favor them. So in order to make that more in their favor, right, they came up with the Electoral College, which should be banned. We should have straight democratic process. So that's how we have this issue of the Electoral College, and sometimes you win the popular vote, sometimes and still lose. Which doesn't make any sense anymore because we know land can't vote. Why? It's like if you live in the middle of Utah in a small town, you may never see a black person. You may never see a Spanish person. You may never see a brown person, period. Right? And all you're going to see is what's represented. All you're going to see is what you see on television, right? You're not going to see what's actually out there. And what's real. So if people in states that are heavily populated want something like gay marriage legalized because they see that love is love and all this kind of stuff, but you in the state believe in the Bible and you believe it's against everything, you get to tell all these people here what to do because you own land, not actual people. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Not to me, it doesn't. I think it should be majority rule. That would make more sense, right? So things like that. That's democratic socialism, and that's what they're trying to say. All the Democrats right now, look at this video, and it's going to tell you exactly what I'm trying to say.
Socialists, stop winning. When you win, we all lose. If you don't want to be a Democrat, then get out of here. Yeah. Take that, commie. While you're figuring out how to make life more affordable, we're doing the things that people actually want. Taking APAC money. If I can't win without being funded by big corporations, then I'm pretty sure you can't either. Except for that you did. We're delivering on what America needs. Non-universal healthcare. We just need to do exactly what we did in 2024, but just better. Kamala Harris. Yeah. Bet you didn't think of that one. We should be uniting the left, which is why I'm condemning you right now.
So that's basically what I'm saying, though. Like the vitriol. There's like anger and hate towards these people who are Democrats and that people voted for. So again, the Democrats are acting like they know better for the people when they don't represent the people. So the 13 Democrats that decide to sign a pledge not to support Democratic Socialists, they should be voted out. I mean, they don't. I can't even say in my county. I used to be proud about being in Maryland. I'm no longer proud of it. I'm not. I can't. I know there's something going on. There's something wrong here. That an APAC candidate, 2 APAC candidates would run. Now we got 3, 1 senator, 2 representatives. Well, all the representatives are. All of them. It's just a bad thing. And you're going to see more and more unusual things happening as a lot more Democrats come to the realization that they're going to be without a party, right? The party's shifting left. And it's not because they want communism. It's because they want health care. They want somebody to represent them. They want somebody like Zoran Madami who's actually going to say, we can do this, right? We're going to do this for the people and not for a select group of owners, right? The people who are the capitalists who actually own everything. That's what's happening. I mean, if you look at the SpaceX IPO, that shouldn't have happened. It's not even real. It's like that shouldn't have happened. And that can only happen under a government that doesn't work for the people, who don't care that people are going to lose money because this happened. You know what I mean? Like, they don't understand. And that's why we have so many working people who are just poor, basically, voting for Republicans who are has always been the party of the wealthy and conservatives, because they don't trust the Democrats, and they can't trust the Democrats because the Democrats, after all this time, not to have a message or a response to Project 2025 is just unbelievable. They don't care, right? I would fire. You would be fired if you were in a real job. They would be fired. There's no way that you can actually say, that's how things should work. It doesn't work that way. I'm trying to see what my next story is about. Yeah, it's about socialists. So let's take a look at it. I got the one after this. I think is a really good one. But let's get to this one.
Democratic Party is not progressive, and it is not leftist, and it does not represent the left politic in this country. The Democratic Party.
I'm going to take this back a little bit because I want to really stress the importance of this, right? Like, what's going on with the Democrats and why they don't really connect with the people anymore, because they aren't of the people anymore. A lot of them been in office way, way, way too long. So I'm going to start this over.
The Democratic Party is not progressive, and it is not leftist, and it does not represent the left politic in this country. The Democratic Party functions to preserve the status quo of the two-party system, capitalism, white supremacy, and patriarchy by very effectively quenching and neutralizing the spontaneous revolutionary sentiment that periodically arises in this country. You have witnessed this repeatedly over the last 10 to 15 years through the spontaneous uprisings that emerged after the murders of Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, George Floyd, the spontaneous uprising that emerged after the election of Donald Trump. Every single one of those revolutionary sentiments was effectively quenched by the Democratic Party How? Pandering and symbolic gestures of representation that made you believe that real change was on the horizon.
That's an important point, right? Right there. Gay marriage. We gave you gay marriage, right? We'll help you out with the trans issue. We help with that, right? What else? Just the equality, just the abortion rights. We'll help you out with that, right? But then the real issues of who controls the money and the budget, they're quiet on that. They don't really press hard because they're getting their money. That's where they're getting their money from.
By continuing to allow the Republican Party to execute each and every one of its promises, the Democratic Party have run out of boogeymen. They've already let abortion rights lapse. Mm-hmm. However, they have not used any of their majorities over the past 30 years, going back to Bill Clinton, to enshrine abortion rights. And as a matter of fact, abortion rights have lapsed under the Biden administration. For years, they have said, oh, if you elect the Republicans, they're going to start World War III and start a war with Iran. Open your eyes. What is happening right now in the Middle East that is not only funded by the Biden administration,
He's correct.
but it is encouraged, and it is the explicit policy.
So you don't understand, like, the amount of wars that have been fought since wars are very expensive, right? And a lot of wars that we are waging and are a part of, and the wars have been in the Middle East, and it's not been for us. We don't need the oil, but it's a market, so yeah, we need the oil. So it's like we've been watching war after war, and these are $1 trillion wars, and they need money now for this ongoing debacle in the Middle East now. And we keep fighting these wars, and we can't get ahead because now they like, we need AI, but we spending money on wars. We need to cut your Social Security. We need to cut your Medicare. We gotta go fight these wars. That's what Trump's words specifically. I don't care about that. Let the state channel that, because we gotta fight the wars. He wasn't supposed to fight any wars. And why are we still fighting wars in the Middle East? It's not for us. It's not for us. That narrative is dead. The wars in the Middle East were never about the United States. The narrative that Islam or the Muslims want to kill everyone, have a grudge against the Jewish people, and we're trying to save them. That was all a lie. That was a trope. That was a narrative. That was a lie. Basically, they came out of Europe. The Jews came out of Europe, went to the Middle East, to Palestine, and said, "This is ours, and we're going to take it." Oh no, you're going to kill us. You don't like us. We don't have a right to exist. Why don't you believe in our right to exist? Because you don't live there. You could exist someplace else, but that's Palestine. And I like the Chinese that went ahead and put that back right. The map, it's just Palestine now. They don't care. They are thugs because I think they know what's right and what's wrong. They're communists, right? So they believe for the people. The people of the land is Israel, and Israel the people of the land are Palestinian. But they keep telling us that is theirs. They keep telling us it's theirs, and there's no living with the other people there. So if you don't want to live with the other people there, what is it? What was done to them in Germany? They're doing it now to the Palestinians. In Palestine, there is no Israel state. In Palestine, and they'll say Palestinians don't exist. That's what they'll say, right? Nobody's saying Israelis or Jewish people don't exist. We're saying that country is not Israel. It's Palestine. You're trying to steal it. All of it. You can't even do a two government system. You can't even do a separate. You can't even do that. They want all of it. And that's what they believe in. So it's this next one. This young lady really breaks the whole thing down about how the people in the Democratic Party have been trying to vote for who they want to lead them since Bernie, right? And they have been, the DNC has been getting in the way of that since Bernie. And they are continuing to be a problem for the Democratic Party. I'm an independent. I will never be a Democrat. Never. I will never be a Democratic Socialist. I'm an independent, right? I vote for the person. When you tell me what you can do, this is what we saw with the debate between Zoran Madami and Cuomo. Cuomo said all the stuff he couldn't do. And then Madami's response was, well, I'm going to talk to you about what I can do with the power of this office and the tools that have been given to me. We're going to get this stuff done, right? And that's all New Yorkers wanted to hear. What can you get done? Not what we can do over time. And he's been winning. And then you see these sad-looking Democrats looking like, he got to deliver. He promised it, he got to deliver now. We got to see. And he's been delivering the whole time. So this is a good summary from this young lady of the differences and why the Democrats are just, you can't trust them. I hate saying that, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? The man, the bear and the man. You want to go on the women. What do you want to go in the woods with? The bear or the man? They say the bear because they know what a bear is. They don't know what the man will do. And I do not know what the Democratic Party is going to do because the way they're acting right now shows you that they're not for the people.
The most established and powerful Democrats in the country just got embarrassed in New York, and they have no idea why. Dan Goldman was the incumbent, 2-term congressman. He had Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, in his corner. He had Governor Kathy Hochul in his corner, too. The entire Democratic establishment was behind this guy, and they just got crushed 64% to 35%. It wasn't even a contest. Who beat him? A socialist, backed by New York City's new socialist Democrat, Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Also, Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Elizabeth Warren endorsed him. The establishment threw everything they had into this race. And the base said, no, thank you. And here's what the Hakeem Jeffries of the world don't understand. The base is fed up. They are done with politicians who live in their DC bubble, take their corporate money and their special interest money, play it safe, and deliver nothing. The Democratic establishment has completely lost touch with the people they claim to represent. And it's not just Democrats who are feeling this way. We now have more registered independents in America than either Republicans or Democrats. People are done picking between the two establishments that don't represent them. They want something real, something that actually speaks to their frustration. Whether you're conservative, liberal, or somewhere in between, this result is a warning shot. The old guard is losing its grip, and the socialist wing is filling that vacuum. And the establishment, well, they'll go on CNN tonight, shake their heads, and still not get it. Follow for more, drop a comment. Is the Democratic establishment finished? Because the numbers are starting to say yes.
And all people are asking for is, what are you going to do for me? That's basically it. The question is, what are you going to do for me? And then it's so bad with the Democrats right now that a Democrat, I can't remember her name, went on Fox News and said when Graham Plattner won, Graham Plattner's addressed all his issues, right? He's a husky dude, military, got a little PTSD, kind of rough around the edges. But no crime. No crime. But a woman, a Democrat, was like, I can't. She said that she would rather. We know the situation we're in, right? Like this, we have to clean house. Like we have to get our country back. Not just all the abuse that ICE is doing. It's the financial mess there, all the money they're stealing, all the safeguards they've removed. We may not have an economy after this is done. Remember, the economies always crash. When they crash, after a Republican administration. And the same thing's happening right now. So she's saying that she doesn't want Graham Plattner to win. She would be fine with Susan Collins winning a Senate seat. Now, the way to actually impeach the president, the House impeaches, the Senate here's the case, and they decide. So we need both houses. And then a Democrat saying that she would rather for the Republican to win the Senate seat or retain the Senate seat is just, it's bonkers. It's bonkers. It's just, it doesn't even make any sense. I don't know who voted for these people. I wouldn't be shocked if I heard that from Walfo or Ivy. I wouldn't be shocked. Or anyone from Maryland saying the exact same thing because they don't want to work. I'm like, who are all these representatives? Who are they? Because I don't know who they are. I don't ever hear from them or anything. I have to tune in to hear from them instead of them coming out to talk to us because they don't get their money from us. That's apparent, right? So in this next video, I'm trying to cut down on my videos too. I try to do a 9 video limit. We're getting there. So this next video is going to be actually about one of the young ladies that won their primary in New York, and this woman has been getting hell, and I'm trying to understand what exactly they're upset about. I've seen her. She was accosted by some Zionists in Israel, and they keep asking her the question. The question they keep asking her is, do you believe that Israel has a right to resist? Do you believe that Israel has the right to resist? And she keeps saying, yes, they exist. Right? Right? My answer to that is no, they do not have a right to resist in Palestine, period. That's what everybody should start saying. No, Israel, the country, the state, has no right to exist in another country. No, they do not have a right to exist in Palestine. That would be my answer. But they're being, politically correct. Nobody wants to be called it. That word, which that word no longer has power. Anti-Semitism, no power. Don't listen to it. It's ridiculous. The people in Israel are genocidal savages. So let's listen to this candidate. I believe her name is Dolaza. This is Dolaza. She won her primary. And she's basically saying, what everyone is saying. I'm listening to the people.
And what we need is a mentality of people over profit, right? We need to make sure that we are centering human dignity at the heart of all of our politics. And I think, we've just forgotten that as a society, and we need to recenter human dignity at the heart of this. I think Ta-Nehisi Coates put it best when he said, if I can't trust you to stand against a genocide, how can I trust you to stand up for our democracy? And I think for so many people, that understanding has resonated, right? To know that we have people who can look at something as horrific as what's happening in Gaza and call it what it is, exactly. Call it a genocide, and that you can trust them with other things. If you can trust them to understand the importance of human dignity and human life in a context like Israel-Palestine, then I can trust you, for example, on issues like healthcare. I can trust you on issues of dignity in the workplace. I can trust you on issues about, reproductive justice. And I think for far too long, we've had folks who will take money from a right-wing lobby like AIPAC and then say that they're progressive, but then when you look at the voting record, that doesn't match. And so I think it's time that we just have representatives who actually have moral clarity on a number of these issues and understand the connection, right? Because you can't tell me that there is no money for schools, there's no money to address childhood poverty, there's no money to address this housing crisis, while voting time and time again to send billions and billions of dollars to a war machine, to a country that's currently enacting a genocide.
Period. So it's interesting about what she said, though, sending money to Israel. Israel has universal health care. We don't have universal health care. We've given billions to Israel, but we don't have any money. We've been giving them our money that our children will have to pay for. And what do we get for that? That money. They got rid of USAID and didn't blink an eye. But try to stop money going to Israel, it's a war. How does that make any sense? How are we adding money to our deficit for a country that's not our ally? And there's no way you can tell me that it's not a genocide. There's no way you can see the pictures. I saw a video this week in the UN of an ambassador or representative. I should have that video. I'm sorry, I don't. Of him seeing the pictures, reading the reports. He's crying about the children, the pictures that he's seeing. Because if you aren't seeing these pictures, you don't want to see these pictures. You want to believe the fairy tale and not believe that it's a genocide happening. So therefore, the blood is on your hands at this point. But he's crying about what he sees, what he's seeing. They put I think it's in New York. Oh, it was Germany. They put the pictures on the sidewalk of the children that are being killed in Gaza, the Palestinian children. And people are walking down the street crying about what they're seeing. So you mean to tell me that we have Democratic representatives who are supposed to be about the people, who won't call it a genocide, who says that, what about Hamas? Hamas is out of the equation. Israel is destroyed. I mean, Gaza is destroyed. If what you're saying when you say that at this point is you're saying that, okay, the genocide is justified because October 7th. That's what you're saying. You're okay with it. And that's not a person I can understand or deal with or would ever vote for. And that's what I think that's why I'll never be a Democrat again. But I think that says that we as a people need to actually just come to grips with the fact that we need to start demanding that our politicians change and they recognize what's really happening. Be woke for real. Being woke is not recognizing transgender. It is actually. You should. But being woke is actually seeing when somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. They're lying to you, black or white, because we got black Democrats lying to us right now. All right, so I'm gonna switch it because it's all tied together. It's all tied together. AI, data centers and AI, right? I've already established and talked about it. More and more people are talking about it. The way they were shifting it, building these AIs, they've taken all the memory for computers. They want everything. They want the hard drive. They want the memory. They don't want to sell consumers anything. Or if they sell it to you, it's very expensive because they believe their customers is the rich people who wants to own the data centers, who wants to own all the information and the gateway to the information, and they want to be paid for it. That's their drive. They don't care that, you need a new computer for high school or college or a project you want to work on. They don't care about that. Only thing they care about is this money that they're not getting from data centers because somebody's paying. They're doing these circular deals on the off chance that this may hit. It's not going to hit. I already said that I believe China is going to win. China's not even really competing in the AI rate because there's no money in it. This stupid pipe dream to think that they're going to make trillions of dollars if they spend trillions of dollars. That doesn't how it works. It's just like you should look at the capital expenditure and said, how are we going to get this money back? Who's going to pay for it? Because somebody has to pay this money back to us. And they don't see how they're going to get the money back. It's becoming more and more apparent that there are less expensive ways to do this. Their approach is wrong. It's going to fall in their faces. Unless there's a technical breakthrough. But China is coming with the technical breakthroughs by building models that are just as good as ours, and they're open source, meaning that you can just download and run it on your own computer. So, I mean, like everything is tied together. They believe that they want to centralize information, knowledge, be the gatekeepers. They want to use large language models to monitor everyone, to be able to, catch all license plates in flock cameras and pinpoint you. Just do a quick search, and they'll know exactly where you were, where you been. You were here, you were there. You left the state here, you came back here. They're going to know all that just by pushing a button. That's what these data centers are actually, a lot of them are being built for, because this is too much data. There's too much capacity for me to understand or even justify, or for me to justify the cost. The cost is astronomical. It makes no sense. I don't see how they're going to get the money back in that. So And you know it's a terrible, because when I say it's the state is, this is all for them, not for us, because they are arresting people. If you have an issue with it or talk against data centers, they are arresting you in meetings, town hall meetings, if you have a problem with what they're doing. This is at the local level. This is even at the top level. This is at the local level where people lives are being. There's a funny video. Oh my God, I have it next week. But people are waking up in the morning and all of a sudden they live next to a data center. They planned a retirement to live in this nice bucolic setting. There's a little lake. There's a little lake over there, a babbling brook over there. They got the hiking trails. And then all of a sudden, a couple of these cars coming in and tearing down all the trees. A data center is coming. And like, what? I didn't know. And then you find out they've been having meetings. They ain't tell you. Then you try to go in and talk to them, and they lock you up.
I'm going to tell you about another local hero, this time an Oklahoma man who is fighting data centers in his community. But first, let me show you the body cam footage of him being arrested for making public comment.
What's Bill's response? Will somebody get terrorist? What's going on?
You need to leave. I've done this in my. Okay, thanks, sir. Thank you, sir.
Can I present my record?
Sir, you've been asked to leave, please.
I'm not going to leave.
You can give it to Sarah. All right, give him to Sarah, and then let's go. You've been asked to leave.
This is a public meeting.
Okay, you can give him to Sarah. You've been asked to leave.
On what grounds?
Right now.
I said on what grounds?
Arresting.
Arresting. That's the police. Fuck the police.
Can you get my folder, please?
Yep, I will.
Can you get my notepad,
So
please?
now he's arrested because he had a problem with data centers. And the county and his government, the people that were elected to office, that's a real state. But people elected to office,
So this guy's name is Darren Blanchard. Blanchard is a farmer. He lives in Claremore, Oklahoma, and he had gone to a community meeting about data centers. Their city council had basically allowed a data center without consulting with community members, and they were pissed. Darren took his turn at public comment, then went a few seconds over because he wanted to give the city council members some documents, and the police promptly arrested him. He was charged with criminal trespass. That's a crime with a $200 penalty, but he's fighting the charge. Not only is he fighting it, he shared this body cam footage, and he's talking to the press too because he wants to use his arrest to speak out against data centers. He says, across the country, people are beginning to recognize that these projects are not just abstract technology investments. They impact land, water, electricity rates, housing, agriculture, and the overall character of our communities. A pattern is unfolding where these developers come in with promises of jobs and investment. Public officials are swayed to move quickly, and the long-term costs are pushed onto residents who had little say in the process. People are asking a very basic question. Who is this ultimately serving? In other words, not only is he not backing down, he's speaking up louder against data centers. That's courage. Never forget our fight, y'all. It's the many versus the money. And
what I see every day is these people on, I watch a lot of tech videos because I'm in tech. So I watch a lot of people talking about the benefits of data centers. AI. They never really talk about the cost, the data centers, how people's lives are being destroyed because all of a sudden the city council made a decision on their own to accept this huge, large building, water guzzler, electric guzzler thing in their county, their state, right next to their houses, without even telling them. And then their lives are changed forever because the nice little neighborhood when they bought their house in, it no longer exists. It's now been sold to a data center. Something those are farmers. You think they understand a data center? Or they understand the need? I don't understand the need for so many data centers. I'm trying to understand it myself. How much data is there? And why is China able to do it without all these data centers? Tell me that. So I don't, I will never understand it. I will never say this is a good idea. It's not. Like I said from the very beginning, when people start talking about it and asking me about it, I say that it's not sustainable. And it seems not to be because people are really, they're really in like this weird place. We're in a weird place with it because the people that are trying to sell it to us are already rich and they're already billionaires. They're trying to change the way work looks, but not really telling us the benefit to us of how the work is changed or how it should look. Because we understood when computers, when I was born, there were no computers. When I was 18, we barely had computers. And now computers are everywhere, phones. All of that made sense. And now we're to the point where they're saying, give us control of everything and we got you. Which that's not how it's done. That's not how it was done before. And that's not how it's going to be done now. Now, I want to turn over a little bit and address some climate issues because data centers generate heat. They use water, but they also generate heat. They're burning fossil fuels to supplement the amount of electricity they need because they're building areas where the grid isn't there yet, or the grid isn't stable enough to pull all that energy off of it. And then when they try to add it, we end up paying for it. But it's not benefiting us because they're not telling people how it's going to benefit you in your everyday life. They're telling you that you're going to lose your job. So here's some climate information about Salt Lake City, Utah. I know they're putting their listeners in Utah. There's a drought coming.
I was reading the first line of an article in the journal Science that said the Great Salt Lake is a ticking environmental nuclear bomb. Mm-hmm. What is the condition of the Great Salt Lake today?
The lake is mostly gone. 2/3 of its water, over half of its area have been desiccated. The lake is 15 feet lower than it would be naturally.
I flew in over Salt Lake a couple of days ago. I mean, it is gone.
Yeah. If half of the mountain was gone, everybody would notice right away. But because the lake is low-lying, you can kind of only see it from the air or when you're right there. This has happened slowly, but also largely out of view. As the lake shrinks, it's shifted weather patterns. Sometimes people think the lake is declining because of drought, but the relationship's actually the opposite. Part of the reason why we had such a severe snow drought this winter is since the lake is mostly gone, we've lost a source of water vapor.
So the lake creates rain.
That's right.
It creates water and snow.
We don't have as much local precipitation because the water coming from the lake through the evaporation can't be a source of snow and rain downwind. During the 1980s, there was an uncommonly wet period. So a series of huge water years. If you reconstruct climate over the past 1,000 years, that was the wettest period there. So we think this is about
wettest period in 1,000 years.
In 1,000 years, right? So might the lake come back naturally? Maybe, but we probably are going to have to wait 1,000 years for that to happen.
And it'll be too late for all the consequences.
It'll be too late because we are within just a few years of seeing the lake's food web collapse, of the lake's sediment becoming a source of this toxic dust pollution that's already impacting our health, our economy, our snow. It's going to be too late for the millions of birds that depend on this lake. The stakes are too high for us to bet the farm on another wet year.
So I play that because of, this regime doesn't do science, doesn't believe in science. They're trying to cut as much off the, scientific budget as they can because they don't want to deal with, they believe in faith. They have faith in God. That's great. They try to make it a crime not to be a Christian. You know that's coming, right? They're doing all kind of crazy things. But what I'm saying is like, all right, so this is an issue with water, but they need more water, right? And I saw another video today with somebody talking about they're not gonna need the water. I'm looking at these people like you guys are lying constantly, and they're doing it because they only thing they care about is their stock price, right? The way this all is intricately put together, if a strand is pulled out, it could all fall apart. Like our whole economy is built up on a lie. And they let Elon Musk do it. So I don't know what's going on. Why people want to believe things that aren't true is just crazy to me. But money Money makes people happy, I guess. All right, so I'm going to talk about, I'm going to leave that alone because I did data centers last Sunday. Not too many people care about it, but I enjoy doing it because I think it's important. So we're going to talk about the war, Israel, Zionists, of course. We have to because all of it's interrelated. They believe that they can control people through social media, then AI, by changing algorithms, banning people, catching how many points of data? Palantir wants to have so many pieces of data on everyone. Like they could actually try to predict if you're going to do something stupid or not, how you're going to vote. Who you gonna kill? Are you gonna do drugs? All that kind of stuff. They're trying to gather that much information, and to house that much information will require a lot of data. But I'm gonna go through this next video because we're going to switch over to the war, the Zionists, the genocide. If you can't say genocide, I don't know you. That's just it. If you tell me there wasn't a genocide, you're a genocidal savage, and that's what I'm going to call you from this point forward. So this is going to be weird to me because, and I have to say this on me. Like I always thought I was pretty well informed, but apparently I wasn't because I didn't know AIPAC was around when I was a child in high school. I had no idea that AIPAC has been a problem that long, and we had one president to call it out. One of the one president who we could say was a good man, Jimmy Carter, and he tried to warn us back then, and we didn't listen. And it's interesting that it was never talked about in mainstream media. You think the media is free? All these people were talking about how they were upset about Barry Weiss. Why? Because y'all weren't telling the news before Barry Weiss. Y'all were handpicking. AIPAC has been a problem in our elections, in our system for a very, very, very long time. And certain people have been saying that and trying to point it out why there will never be peace in the Middle East. And it's not because of Islam. It's because of Zionism and that they got from America.
If the United States was using Israel for its own selfish interests, why do you need a lobby? You only need a lobby because it's not in America's interests to have Israel behave the way it does. The lobby is there to protect Israel. The Israeli government and the lobby together get the United States to do whatever they want, no matter what. But if you took the lobby away, there's no lobby, we'd have a fundamentally different foreign policy.
You have an advantage to be partners with Israel.
No.
No? You don't?
No. It's not in their interest. Is it in our interest to support a genocide now? We have terrible relations with Iran. Why do we have terrible relations with Iran? Because of Israel. Iran and the United States were working hard to improve relations, and the lobby moved in and put the kibosh on it. Still, it's not in their strategic interest to support Israel.
Okay, that's the wrong video, obviously, but I'll talk about AIPAC nonetheless. But that man is showing you that he's showing you what people are saying. Like, why does Israel need a lobby? Why are they picking local candidates? Because when Israel picks a local candidate, they'll talk about local issues. They don't really care about the communities that they're in. They only care about Israel. And how Israelis are treated in this country, how Zionists are treated in this country, because they want to live all over the world and rule everything. So that was a video really pointing out AIPAC, how the problem that AIPAC has never, Israel's never been our ally. What have we gotten from them? Can you please, and I'm talking to regular people, I'm not talking to Jews of any type, Zionists or not. What have we gotten from Israel? I'll wait. All right, so this is the video I meant to play, but that was actually saying the problem that AIPAC is, but this is going to show you how long it's been a problem, and certain people, that man right there was saying it, right? Why we don't hear him on 60 Minutes or MS Now.
Americans don't want to know, and many Israelis don't want to know what is going on inside Palestine. It's a terrible human rights persecution that far transcends what any outsider would imagine. And there are powerful political forces in America that prevents any objective analysis of the problem in the Holy Land. I think it's accurate to say that not a single member of Congress with whom I'm familiar would possibly speak out and call for Israel to withdraw to their legal boundaries or to publicize the plight of the Palestinians. And that is added onto by the very effective work of the American-Israeli group called AIPAC.
AIPAC. He said that back then. So it's like, it's been a problem for a long time and we just ignored it. Now, this reminded me of a story. I'm a Doctor Who fan. There's a story, I can't remember the season of Doctor Who, but it was a Doctor Who. He travels through space and time with a companion. If you know the story, you should know the story. Watch Doctor Who. It's fun. It's supposed to be for children, but it's also for adults. It handles very adult issues. So in this story of Doctor Who, they traveled through space and time. They ended up at a time when the Earth was destroyed and Britain somehow got themselves, the whole, population and a lot of the landmass of Britain found like a space whale or some big gigantic creature that they could put themselves on. They found a way to control the beast, and they're living on the beast through space, right? Everybody thinks it's some kind of agreement that they made with the beast. Really, the beast is being tortured and is in captivity, right? And under great pain. So the state of Britain becomes fascist because they need to keep control of everyone, because everyone may not accept what they're doing to this beast, right? They found a slave. So what they do is, if they find out that you're actually waking up, they'll kidnap you, re-educate you, and then show you the truth. And then you have a choice to pick, I want to forget what's really happening, or I forget what the other choice was. But you can forget what's happening, right? In order to go back to the system where most of the people don't actually believe it should be happening. Like in this country, right? Most people don't actually know what's happening in Israel. And myself included. Most of us, I think, have an idea, but for some reason, we hear something like, oh, wait a minute, that's terrible. And then we don't hear any follow-up or any other stories. We just choose to forget. So that's what they would do. They would choose to forget the terrible plight of this beast in order to keep surviving. And even the Queen of England at the time and then she would go through it herself also. She would wake up, she would forget, then wake up and start remembering and start trying to see what's really going on. And then she would have to choose to forget again for some benefit. And that's where we are in the world. The entire world sees this genocide happening, sees children being killed, bombed, and this country continuously violating the law, taking the land from allowing their settlers to take Palestinian homes in the West Bank and in Gaza, but won't do anything because they click the button and choose to forget. And I don't know why that happens. Like, what is really going on? There has to be something else going on that we don't know about, that we've allowed this to happen. It happened with South Africa in their apartheid state. And now, but South Africans couldn't get to the genocide. But now we have an openly slow-moving genocide happening in Palestine, and we have been allowing it for years because it's easier to forget. And I don't know why. I wish somebody would actually go into the why. Why are these people now are coming out every day saying that Israel has never been our ally. The Mossad are killers. But then we choose to forget every time. Why? I can't forget anymore. I can't. I can't have that blood on my hands. So I think I got one more video on. Yep. I think I got two more. I think I got one more. Yeah, one more. Yeah, here on Israel. This is gonna be. I thought his name. He's from TYT. His name is Irk, I think it is, but it's basically saying the same thing. Like, what's going on?
To be honest, the global war against Israel's enemies cost us $8 trillion.
That's why we're bankrupt.
Yeah. I mean, here we are at 38 trillion. And Tucker, that's the other amazing part. So
$8 trillion on the credit card for a war that wasn't for us.
Now, in the last 2 weeks, Trump gave another $8.6 billion, totally unaccounted. Where's that $8.6 billion coming from? Did anybody ever vote for that $8.6 billion? And then unabated, he gave another $3.3 billion. Where is this money coming from? Is anybody voting on this? What is going on? And
well, these are IOUs to countries that are buying our treasuries.
Exactly. So that's the next layer of it.
Never getting
so you're telling us we have to borrow money from China and Japan so we can give money for free to Israel, and then we pay the interest for the rest of our lives, and they don't pay any interest. Well, why don't they borrow it from China and Japan?
Exactly.
Because they won't give it to them. So there you go, right there. The money issue. This the money issue. Like, why are we doing this? Doesn't it make any sense? And then should I be asking these questions? Is Mossad gonna bust in here and kill me? That's a threat. They've threatened everyone. They're talking about is Israel threatening the world? I don't know. There you go. That's it for all the. I have one more video I want to play. It kind of ties in nicely. It's a Dave Chappelle from Dave Chappelle. We're going to some hope now. And I got a new section for this too. Actually, I want to do this first. All right, yeah, I'm at a new section for this for some hope. I know that I've talked about on this podcast before how I'm going to do a segment or a series of videos on designing your own religion. I'm not a Christian. I'm a spiritual agnostic. I believe in spirituality, as I said earlier. So one thing that I would like, if I was designing a religion, I would not have a sermon, and it would not be a religious leader, somebody who's going to interpret for us. It would be sort of like a group discussion. I think they have this thing. I think they actually do this in Amish, where they would actually just sit there and talk about something. We have something like that in the Baptist church that I would call testimonial time. But basically, I want to do a let's meditate together session. Let's meditate on an idea or a phrase or a meme or a Bible verse, something that you have saw that you wanted the broadcast, the people, the community to actually just think about. And the first one, and we're just gonna take it in today. And then we're going to talk about it on Wednesday, what it actually means to you. This is from Jay-Z, from Change the Game. I'm a Jay-Z fan. I do have some issues. I am a hip-hop head. I do have some issues with the whole Jay-Z, it hit me today too. The whole Jay-Z and the Target thing where he's selling the Reasonable Doubt anniversary rap album, the actual album in Target. Supposedly exclusive, but they found it other places too. And we're supposed to be boycotting Target. He also, when we were supposed to be boycotting the NFL, took a job with the NFL as a talent coordinator or something like that. Which is, it is what it is. Do I have a problem with that? I don't think that I do. So this is the big, so this is what we want to meditate on this week. What it means to you. It means a lot to me. I thought about it. Oh, what I say about, him making that deal with Target. He said it in the song Parking Lot Pimpin', man. I think it was Parking Lot Pimpin', but you never trust grimy ass New Yorkers. He said that, right? He's telling you, that every now and then he gonna do a snake move because that's how he was brought up. So now you shocked at something that he gonna do to benefit him. I don't really think this is even a big deal. We can just not buy the albums. He got his money. He probably snake target because he's not a leader of the black community. We're not going to go in there. I'm not buying the album. The white people are going to buy the album. So it's a win-win situation. He got money and they selling it to people who would normally go in the Target anyway. So, there you go. So this right here is, there's only one rule, I will not lose. What does that mean? Let's meditate on that for the next couple of days, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday, and then we'll come back with we'll present a new meme or something else to meditate on for the next couple of days. There is only one rule I would not lose, and that was on the Change the Game with Benny Siegel, Memphis Bleak. It's in the show notes. So yeah, I'm interested to hear about what your thoughts are about that and what it actually could mean to you. Maybe it means nothing to you. Like it's garbage. Like a lot of people say Jay-Z lyrics are garbage. I don't say that. I don't say that. This means a lot. You can make a choice whether you lose or not. But we'll talk about it on Wednesday when I come back. All right. So next video, we're going to do some Dave Chappelle. Not funny, but Dave Chappelle isn't always funny. He's sort of like Mark Twain in that way, where he likes to tell stories, and this is a good story. And actually ties into a video we saw earlier about one of our presidents.
While he was in Israel, a book of his was released, and its title was very controversial in Israel. And the title of the book was Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid. And while he was there, Jimmy Carter said, I want to go to the Palestinian territory. And the Israeli government said it's too dangerous. And if you go, we cannot protect you. And man, Jimmy Carter went anyway. I will never forget the images of a former American president walking with little to no security while thousands of Palestinians were cheering him on. And when I saw that picture, it brought tears to my eyes. I said, I don't know if that's a good president.
That's a good man.
That right there, I am sure, is a great man.
Great.
It made me feel very proud. The presidency is no place for petty people. So Donald Trump, I know you watch the show. Please do better next time. Do not forget your humanity. And please have empathy for displaced people, whether they're in the Palisades or Palestine. Thank you very much, and good night.
Dave Chappelle really hit the nail on the head here. It's about whether you're going to lose your humanity once you are in that seat of power. We need real accountability from a president who should learn and try hard to remember the people he's supposed to represent, not just the donors, because what Chappelle has...
that showed you, like, even there, Chappelle knew it, that they went there. I guess the book, I didn't read Jimmy Carter's book. But, yeah, he was not afraid to go into Palestine. And I've heard it point out that they say death to America, death to Israel. Why? They don't, you know what I'm saying? Why are they saying it? I'm supposed to believe that, and Jimmy Carter didn't believe that they would kill him. He knew that they would just probably talk to him and plead their case to him, trying to get some relief from these maniacs. And then you see how they didn't want him to go. They tried to prevent him from going because they don't want the truth coming out about what they've been doing and what their plans are. They have no plans on living with the Palestinians in peace, and therefore they want to commit genocide. I'm gonna keep saying it. That's it. That's it. I do have the spoken word, of course. So I played the spoken word from Kira J last week. Last Sunday, and I often chop it up and clips. Put a clip on Instagram, and actually she responded. She did it a couple times. Like she'll say something about it and thank you for sharing it. But then this time she said that to me, and I kind of knew that this was an important poem that she shared last week. Go back and look at it if you haven't. But she said that's her favorite poem that she's ever done. And it is interesting, that poem, like I said, I've been going through a lot, and that poem hit me at a place that I really needed it. I don't know if you've ever been at rock bottom, and rock bottom is a place that you really can't see. It's hard to actually see your way out. And like 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 months ago, I wasn't sure that I wanted to continue living because I didn't understand. I didn't think I would be able to continue living. I was trapped and didn't really have a way out. But then as you slowly go past that, you'll talk to my daughters, my family, slowly coming back that and getting a plan. And all of a sudden you can start hearing things, right? And then you hear something that just everything clicks in place, right? And that's what that poem was to me. And I told her that, and I said, thank you for that. I really appreciate you sharing your vulnerability and your pain and your growth, which is important for all of us to share. And I think that's what I'm trying to do with my little haikus every day. Trying to share a little experience, strength, and hope with this world as we're going through this. This is not always going to be what we're going through. This is always like, it's a confusing time because there's just so many different, things pulling through, things coming at us. We don't really know, but you always got to look for the hope, like the message in everything that we're doing. There's something that we're supposed to be listening for, and that's what I got from that poem. So I'm stuck on it. She wrote books. She's written books. She has an album. Quite prolific, and I just really listen for what she's saying, and like the message from that last poem came through to me at the right time, and it was a simple little message. It's a simple little message about where you are in being spiritual. So this week I did choose another spoken word by Kira J about friendship, and I needed this one too.
I've written a lot of poems about the men that I've loved, the good, the bad, it's all been true. But when I grabbed my pen to write today, I realized I've never wrote for you. Though I get most of my inspiration from frustration when a relationship starts and ends, I question why I write so much about the men that I touch, but never write about the men that I call my friends. I think it's important to mention why you love someone without mentioning what they provide, because to truly love someone for their existence, you have to put your own self-interest aside. So the words I have for you today are all possession-free. I want you to know that you are loved completely independent from how it benefits me. I love you because your heart is so pure and you exude love from a genuine place. The way you show up for yourself can put a smile on anyone's face. I love you because you have the strength to know when it's time to ask for help. And then you trust in me enough to know that you ain't gotta do everything by yourself. I love you because your sense of humor, when you laugh, it's like the world heals, and you could take the worst day and put some joy into it until none of the bad shit feels real. I love you because the father you are, your sons are your entire world. Just watching you teach them boys to be men, I can't wait till you have a little girl. I love you because you're not friendly, but somehow we became friends through it all. Our worlds could be crumbling around us, but we still gon' have a ball. I love you because you're honest as fuck, which hasn't always been easy to find.
Yeah, listen to that album, man. I'm listening to it all weekend, and it's nice. But one thing I like about that particular poem is about friendship between men and women. There's always the trope on social media about can men and women be actual friends? Yes. Some of my best friends have been women, and I am grateful for their friendship. Yeah, it's possible to have friends that are women or the opposite sex without having sex. It's just, what are your intentions? Do you see that person as a person or a genitalia? All right, y'all, we gone. I'm out. I'll see you next week. We're getting ready to talk about There's Only One Rule I Will Not Lose by Jay-Z. We'll talk about that next week. And if you want to talk about anything else for the next week, I'm talking about Wednesday. Sorry, Wednesday. And if you want to suggest something that we can meditate on, please let me know. I'm gone, but you know how we end these things. What you want to hear? You want to hear some go-go? All right, here's some go-go. I like about this. I like this guy. He does these videos. I definitely want to talk to him and get into that too. But DC, Gogo is alive and well in DC. Or DMV, I should say. And I'll say like I always say, you will not understand Gogo until you actually go to the Gogo. All right, y'all. I'm out. I will I'll be back here on Wednesday. Ready to talk about meditation, words of contemplation. And be cool, be good. Pay attention to what's going on. Stay woke. All right. Peace out. See you on Wednesday.